Hello, welcome or welcome back. My name's Hunter. This is the Lost Stitch Design Podcast. All right, we're going to start off today with what I'm wearing. So, and I guess finished objects. Finished objects after what I'm wearing. But this is the Sofrine by Audrey Borrego. It is knit in Yarn Beast Finesse, and the colorway is ivory and red. It is a discontinued yarn. So, unfortunately, you'd have to buy it from somebody who already has it, or see if you can get it from somebody else's stash. It is a very soft yarn. I really like it. But it's red and white. I made it for, it was intended for the 4th of July because I wasn't sure when I was going to get to it. But it knit up really quick. It was made on 3.75 millimeter needles. And yeah, so the stitch pattern, it's 6 rows of red and 18 rows of white. And like I said last week, if I had a navy, I absolutely would have done just like a thin little navy stripe, and it just would have been perfect. But yeah, let's go ahead and hop right on into the finished objects. So the first one is actually no longer with me. It got shipped up to its forever home up in Ohio with my aunt, and that is a Toy Story alien. I started him, I want to say pre-COVID, like right around COVID, somewhere in there. So like 2019, 2020, somewhere like that. I just finished him. So he's been like, he's a 6-year-old whip, finally off the needles, or he was crocheted, so finally off the hook. There was no pattern. I'm going to put a picture of him up on the screen somewhere, probably over here, just because that's probably going to be the easiest place for me to put his picture. But yeah, he got finished on Tuesday the 19th. So, mosquitoes. All right, at least it's not a bee. Although I am already eaten up by mosquitoes from just this past week. I think I have like 80 mosquito bites on my legs right now. So that's like way more information than you need. I'm not going to cut it out because that's a bit much. I don't think that really needs to be cut out. But yeah, that is the first whip, is my alien. 6 or 7 years in the making. He's finally done. So proud. He's off to his forever home with my aunt. He ended up being really cute. But yeah, he was completely self-drafted. Very proud of him. The next finished object that I have, I actually finished this one in 2 days. I didn't show it last week because it was drying. So I did dye it, this navy. This is supposed to be like a navy blue dye. I didn't let it sit long enough for the navy to actually become navy. But it got to this light blue. I will be adding on the green because I wanted it to be more of a bluish green to go with my skirt. So this is going to come on here. It's going to be dyed a little bit, but I got the dye to fix it. This is the Thank You Very Much top. The name, the designer, all that will be on the screen, as well as the yarn I used to. Actually, I don't even remember the yarn that I used to use it. I know it was 100% cotton. I knit it on 5mm needles, or US size 8 needles, and it is relatively cropped. It does come to about here. So, I mean, it does look really good on. I'm not wearing it right now because, well, I need to finish dyeing it. Also, it's a very cropped top, and I really did make it just to go with the skirt. But if I had enough yarn to do like 3 more inches, I would have gotten it to the perfect length for that skirt. But I didn't have it. I ran out of yarn. Downside of using stash and scraps to make something. But I started this on May 5th. I finished it on May 7th. So it took 2 days to knit. And it worked up really quick. It's really fun. I'm definitely going to be knitting this pattern again. Probably in a smaller needle size, so it won't take me 2 days. Unless I can find more like coordinating cotton yarn that's this weight, because this is a very nice weight for it. Then it might take me a week to knit the full size top. Yeah, that is my finished object that I'm showing you guys today. I can just sit right there. Yeah. All right. All right, we're going to go ahead. We're going to get into whips. So the first whip that I have is my wedding peacock shawl. This is a pattern by M. Mario. He's no longer with us, but his patterns still are. They are gorgeous patterns. There is somewhere to make like free will donations should you want to do that. I don't know exactly where that goes. I didn't really look into it. But this is my first annual lace project, and just look how gorgeous it is. I did finish my first ball of Aunt Lydia's cotton crochet thread last night, so this is back on hold until I can go in and find all of the stuff that I need, until I can go in and find the other 3 balls that I have of this. They're just tucked away somewhere. Actually, that was the back of it. Hold on, I gotta show you the front. The front is stunning. So this is knit on 3mm needles, and these needles are actually a recent acquisition, so I will go into that a little bit more when I go into the acquisitions, because I have another set of them in the box, because this is going to be more than 47 inches. It's going to need more than 47-inch needles, but that is what that looks like. It is a lovely pattern. I really do like it. The pattern is just charts, so actually I brought it out with me. So this is the whole pattern. Like, it's just charts. So this is the first page. It gives you all the abbreviations and everything. All the different colors are the different days that I worked on it. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days on it. Day 5 continues on here, and then I have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I've worked on this 14 times, and I will say the bigger the rounds are getting, the longer they're taking, so I'm able to do fewer and fewer. So I don't think I'm going to get another, like, 7-day, like, 14-row day, because each one of these is 2 rows. So I don't think I'm going to get another 14-row day, but could happen. You never know. If I really just feel like sitting down morning to night knitting on this, I might get another 14-hour day. Next WIP is the blueberry sock. So I am onto the cuff of the blueberry sock, and I finished the magic heel. I don't know if you guys can see that clearly or not, but I did switch the way that the knits and purls. So like what was knit in the magic heel is now going to be purled in the cuff, and vice versa, just because it made it easier for me, and then I can differentiate for the second sock where I stopped and where I started, like how many rows of the magic heel I did. It'll just make it easier for me. This is knit on 2.75mm needles, and it's made using Premier Fruits sock yarn. This is acrylic, so, you know, if you don't like acrylic, maybe don't use it. Personally, I don't mind acrylic, especially not for socks or for gifts, because not everybody is going to remember, this is made with wool, I need to wash this differently than I wash the rest of my laundry. No. My mother is going to shove these in the washer and dryer and say, oh well. And if they felted, she would probably just throw them out. So it's acrylic because she's not going to take care of wool very well. Or she'll make me wash the socks, and quite frankly, I don't want to wash my mother's socks. That's the bottom line, is I don't want to wash my mother's socks. The next project that I have is the classic camel vest that I am making for my brother-in-law. This is Ella Rae Honey in the colorway Persimmon. This is another discontinued yarn, so it's no longer being manufactured, but it is still, I think my local yarn store still has a few balls left of it, a few skeins. However, I got more than enough to do what I need. I've gotten this far since last week, so that's about 3 inches. I still have 2.5 more inches before I finish the shoulders, and then I will be onto the front panel. So I'm hoping that happens sooner rather than later, because I really, really want to do the cabling. And it's just, I want to do the cabling. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Give me 1 sec. All right, we're good. The last WIP that I have to show you guys, or at least the last non-acquisition WIP that I have to show you guys, is my Savage Skirt by LG Fiberworks. So I did finish that middle ruffle. So there will be 3 ruffles. So one of them attaches down here. I did the middle one, and then I have one more to do up here. And I'm working on the attached waistband. So it's looking really good. I did do the short row version, but it is looking good. The way that I'm doing the waistband is not the way that it's written. So I didn't pick up all of the stitches ahead of time. What I'm doing is I'm sort of picking up 5 or 10 of them at a time. I'm putting them on a second needle. That second needle is inside because I didn't want to lose it. But I'm going to put it on a second needle, and then I work it, and I just keep going. And every time I do like 5 to 10 more rounds, because this is double knit, so I have to do rounds. So every time I finish this 5 to 10, I'll pick up 5 to 10 more. And I just like not like knowing that I'm not going to lose all my stitches, because I don't want to have a cable in here because I have a lot of wicks, and I don't really want to give up one of the cables for this. Also, I don't have a 3.5 millimeter needle that isn't a shorty, and my shorties were in use when I started this. So this is what it's looking like. So it's going from this up to this, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I'm loving the way that it's turning out. But this is the skirt actually that this top is going to go with. So in theory, it would work in theory. I still want it to have that little bit of a greenish color to it. But yeah, this is how that's looking. Finish that ruffle. The ruffle is longer than the pattern calls for. And after I wash it, the ruffle will lengthen a little bit. So this is a 9-inch ruffle. Pattern calls for 6. I personally like my ruffles to be just a touch longer than the bottom of my butt. Just my personal preference. I don't really want my butt hanging out. Like, even with shorts, I still try to find them as long as I can. Unfortunately, I can't find a lot of like athletic shorts that fit me well that don't come up super high. But that is a whole different issue, and maybe I'll make a video on making shorts to fix that. All right, into the acquisitions. We have a few. One of them arrived the day that I filmed the last episode. So last Thursday. No, it arrived the day after that. So this arrived Friday the 15th. This arrived on pattern release day. Very excited. If you didn't watch last week's episode, I did release a pattern on the 15th. So this arrived on pattern release day, which made it even better because that was an awesome day. So this is from Junction Fiber Mill. This was their mystery bag to celebrate the release of the Sheep Detectives movie. And they said at least 100 grams. I ended up getting like 124 grams or something like that of yarn, which is around 500-ish yards. So, yeah. So I have this one. This ball had factory knots in it, so I ended up with like 3 sections of this. So this is the main section of it, and then I have 2 smaller ones. One of them is already knit up in my project, but this is a gray Romney. This is the only one I was actually able to find a name for on their website, unfortunately. And then I have this color right here. These did not come caked. They came in hanks. So this is the color that I got there. I don't know. You can see most of the colors there. But it is gorgeous. It's a very soft yarn. These are all 100% wool. This is the mid-size cake that I got of the Romney. And then the other color goes, I think it's like a continuation of a skein, but one was like 30, they were both 30-something ounces or 30-something grams. So this one was 35.3 grams, and it was around 141.2 yards based on the math. So this one I'm working inside out. The other one I will work outside in. So this one I got 37.2 grams or 148 yards. I am designing a pattern for it because I couldn't find exactly what I wanted in an already released pattern. So I'm going to be releasing this pattern. This is my travel project, so I have an airplane stitch marker that I made the other day. But this is going to be my River Run wrap. I'm going to be releasing this pattern in June. It's going to be $1 with a code in the description. So if you want to get it for free, you can get it for free. Otherwise, if you want to pay the $1 to support it, pay the $1 to support it. I'm not going to have it tested because it is really just a triangle wrap, and it's not really, the only thing special about it is lace. Yeah, so it's going to be more, if you want to pay $1 for it, pay $1 for it. If you want to download it for free, there will be a code so you can download it for free. And these are, all my patterns are released on Ravelry, but this is the first acquisition. This is Junction Fiber Mill Mystery Bag. I really like it. The next acquisition came from Lind Hobby. This is the package that was stuck in France for 8 days. And I ended up calling FedEx like 4 days in a row to try to get them to get it on a flight. It must have finally worked because like the third call I made, they said, yeah, it's going to be 2 more weeks before we can even ship it out on the next flight. And then I called back the next day and he goes, yeah, we're going to just get this on the next flight. So it got on the next flight. It ended up getting here Monday, the 18th, but very nice. So actually, I'm going to just show you. The first yarn that I got is Lind Hobby Ella 130. This is 100% cotton, or no, 70% cotton, 30% polyester. It's 50 gram balls, so I got 500 grams of it. All of this I got 500 grams of, so all 3 yarns. This has about 142 yards or 130 meters of yarn per ball. I'm going to be making a design, and it's going to be called the Magnolia Top, and it's going to have a magnolia flower on the front and back. And it's inspired by the magnolia tree that's in the front yard. I'm literally staring at it right now behind the hedgerow. But it's not going to be released until next spring because we're already in magnolia season, and I want to release it just before magnolia season next year. So this will actually be the last yarn that I get into from this box. But the design, it's going to have a few different neckline options, and it's going to have a few different sleeve options. I think for me personally, I'm going to make it V-neck and then about half sleeve. So that's going to be my personal preference for it. But everybody has their own, so we want to accommodate for that. The next yarns that I have are the Drop Spell in the colorway, I think it's Deep Moss or Deep Forest, but it's this gorgeous color right here. It's absolutely stunning. It does look darker on the computer than it does in person. So it's gorgeous. It is 53% cotton, 33% viscose, and 14% linen. I'm going to be using this to make my next design, which is Under the Willow tee, which is my Under the Willow tee. And basically, it's going to be, I'm thinking a raglan, and it's going to look like it has little willow fronds, like willow branches, palm fronds. Palms have fronds, not willows. It's going to look like a little willow branch, just like swaying in the wind. That's the idea in my head. I'm not sure how possible it is yet because, again, I have a ton of stuff on the needles. I need to get something off the needles. So I'm really pushing to get the skirt done or this guy right here. One of them needs to come off the needles because otherwise nothing's going to get done, and it's going to take months to get everything done. But next design is the Under the Willow tee. Actually, I lied. I think I'm just going to cast on a swatch and see if my design can come to life. But that is the green. And the last yarn acquisition that I got is the Drops Cotton Light in the colorway Petrol. And this is 50% cotton, 50% polyester. I'm thinking of, this one is going to be a summer version of this top, but it's going to have a tire tread, like a lace tire tread going up the back. I do have a winter version in mind that would be more unisex and heavier yarn, more unisex, and honestly a little bit more geared towards men than women just because it's tire tread. But that is not to say anything about one gender preferring it over the other. It is simply, I don't know very many ladies who would want to wear tire tread in the winter. But if you are into that, it's going to be unisex, so there's going to be modifications to make it deeper for men or make it, there's going to be bust shaping for women. But it's going to have a tire tread and knits and purls going up the back and down the front. The front is optional for both of them. The overall chart for it won't change. It'll just be, do you want to put it on the front and the back, or do you just want to have it on the back? But yeah, those are my yarn whips, or my yarn acquisitions. And then the needles that I mentioned for my first whip are the Licca Cypress. So this is the 60-inch version. And I will say, with use, so like you can see that these are sort of more orangey, and these are a little less orangey. So these have been used, these have not. Actually, you might not be able to tell that well on camera. But these are definitely, they definitely get shinier with use. I will say that. The shininess comes back with a lot of use. So I'm just going to throw my projects in here real quick. And then this lovely bag, or this lovely box, sorry, that's not a bag. Come over here. And then I have a couple new fabric acquisitions as well. So I know last week when I was showing some of my finished objects, the Blooming Breeze top specifically came really short. And I mentioned wanting to make like a little slip to go under it with knit fabric or something like that. I picked up some black waffle knit from Hobby Lobby the other day, and I'm going to be using it to make just sort of like a small slip type kind of dress. And that is going to be a fun one because I'm not quite sure how that's going to work, because I don't want it to be, I want as few seams as possible, but I also want a full skirt. So we're going to figure that one out in a different video, but I will take you along for the making of that slip. This is the fabric for it. I also think I'm going to have enough to make a pair of shorts out of this as well, but I'm not quite sure on that one. If I can, awesome. If I can't, oh well. The next acquisition that I have is this polyester linen blend. I think it's polyester, but this is also from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to be using this to make a summer dress as well as a pair of shorts. So I have 3 yards of this. I have 2 yards of the black. I definitely got enough of this to make summer shorts because this fabric is just so soft. I love it so much. I've had my eye on it since February, so I have a general rule of thumb, especially with fabrics, because I did have a fabric stash that got way too far out of hand, and I ended up, how do I best put this? It ended up being too much for me to use, and I still have it over a decade later, and I still don't know what to do with it. So my now general rule of thumb is if I like it for more than 3 months and I'm actually going to make the project with it, then I can get it. If I don't have a project in mind for it and it's like an impulse buy, chances are I'm not going to pick it up unless it is on like an insanely good sale. So, or if it's a remnant. If it's a remnant, I don't have an issue with it because I'm not getting that cut. And I don't need to like buy a specific amount. It's just like what's left over. So I have actually, in one of the next videos that I do, I'm going to be making some shirts with what I found as remnants. So it's also probably going to be the same one that we do the dress in. So that's going to be more of like a sewing vlog type kind of thing. And it's probably going to fill some of the gap while I'm out of town. Maybe. I don't know. That's like future plans. But yeah, those are my acquisitions. And I would love to add like a questions part of this to the video. I don't know. So if you have questions, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. And I suppose I should do the thing that like everybody does. If you like this, if you want to continue, if you want to see the growth, feel free to subscribe. Like the video if you got this far, I guess. Up to you completely on both of those. But yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye. Ooh, mosquitoes.